Hello there everybody, welcome back to another Lost Ark video. I bet you didn't expect that coming up. I figured I'd log in and just kind of talk. We'll have a little chit chat. Just talk about sort of what's going on, you know? While I run my dailies. Because I still do my dailies most days on my Soul Fist. Granted, this is about all I do, but hey, some little background Lost Arking while we talk about the topic that I have chosen, which is, as I'm sure you can tell by the title of the video, I know you're keen with your eyes, even if I might not be. Believe me, I'm fucking blind sometimes. I need glasses. That's a whole separate topic. But Lost Ark stream LOAON Winter. What do we think's going to be happening for LOAON Winter? I'm interested to hear what you guys think. I pose you guys two different questions. What do you think will be announced or talked about at LOAON Winter, and what do you hope for? Because those are two very different things. And I think I'll kind of talk about what I think and what I hope. What should I start off with? Well, do I go for the hopes, or do I go for the copes? The copes, or what I think? I guess we'll go over what I think is gonna be announced for LOAON Winter. So, realistically speaking, I think there's gonna likely be a new class. I think that's pretty much a gimme, right? There's 100%, I wouldn't say 100% a new class, but I would say like higher than 90% chance. It's close to 100 that we're getting a new class announced at LOAON Winter. I also expect there to be some introductory tier 4 changes. I know some people have talked about on the anniversary live stream. I didn't look at that at all, but I expect there to be some changes to the introductory period between arc passive and non-arc passive in tier 4. And I expect that to be mostly revealed at LOAON Winter. So these are the two things that I feel fairly confident on, as far as things that I think are going to be happening. Aside from that, it's hard for me to say what is really gonna come out. I mean, it could be fucking anything, right? I think there is a higher than 50% chance that they may do some changes to elixirs, announce some change to elixirs, whether that be changing them to be less RNG, roster wide. I think that's a cope. That's a big cope. I don't think they'll do that, but I'm listing all the possible things that I think they could do to elixirs. Make them silver, make them less RNG, make them roster wide, or just do something else entirely, sort of like kind of like how Transcendence is, but without the materials. It's just like you go to the NPC, you don't need an elixir anymore, you just pay gold or silver and you put the elixir quote unquote on your gear. Just something, because Voldus is kind of irrelevant content at this point, and it kind of has been for a while. And it's only going to get worse the longer the game goes on. The bomb is not going to hit, by the way. I love this boss, man. We have fun here in Lost Ark Land. But what was I saying? This is the problem. I can never play a game and talk. You think it's easy until you actually try doing it, and then you're like, damn, that's low-key harder than you'd think it would be. I just lose track of what the fuck I was saying sometimes. I was talking about elixirs, right? I don't think they're gonna do that, but I think they need to do something. They need to address it somehow. Because when the best advice for a system is simply to wait for the event versions of the items for that system, that's not a great implementation of a system, no? And I think that's the reasonable thing that will happen. So those are the three things that I think are reasonably going to happen. I think there's for sure going to be a new class. I think it's very likely. I also think that tier 4 introductory arc passive stuff is going to get changed. And I think it's less likely, but still likely enough that the elixir stuff might get looked at in some way. Now, what do I want to happen? Well, that's a completely different bucket list. Me, personally, I would want some sort of content besides raids. Anything to do in this game that isn't a raid, that is also not just, like, stronghold-based, right? Meaningful solo content, meaningful content that you can do with, like, 1 or 2 friends, like, flex content. Something that isn't just raids. Honestly, like, a Guardian raid is fun. More stuff like this. But you don't necessarily need to make it a daily or weekly either, you know what I mean? Just alternative avenues to do content. That would be, like, the #1 thing that I would want personally. I would also want some core changes to the other progression systems that I had already mentioned. So, obviously, I would want elixirs to be changed in some meaningful way. I would also want transcendence to be changed in a meaningful way. And honestly, the biggest offender of all right now is the fact that advanced toning is kind of useless, all things considered, for people who weren't able to interact with the system pre-Tier 4. So I mean, that's something that they really should remedy now rather than later. But I know that is Omega Cope, and that's 100,000% never going to happen. And again, this is my what I want list. This is not what I think will happen. This is like my ideal. You know what I mean? I mean, I say ideal very loosely. It's not my ideal. It's just things that I would really want. There's a lot of ideal things that I would want, you know? The list would be too long if I was starting to list all of them. But that's neither here nor there, you know what I'm saying? I think the way that I would want them to handle Transcendence is probably making it roster-wide. Same with Elixirs. I think making these systems roster-wide is fine, because then you can still funnel people into doing them at least one time. And then after that, they don't have to interact with the system again. And I think going through these systems at least one time, especially elixirs with event elixirs, isn't the worst thing in the world. It still wouldn't be perfect, but it would be infinitely better than what we have now. And, I mean, we shouldn't let the lack of perfection get in the way of something being better, right? And I think roster-wide stuff is just a great solution to a lot of things in this game. But I mean, let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm playing a different game in my mind. I don't know. But those are some things that I would really want. And then obviously I would like them to change advanced toning somehow. I don't know how exactly I would change it. I think the system as a whole is... It was clearly designed to suck materials out of the economy when Tier 3 was still a thing. And then they released Tier 4 immediately, and then they changed it to Tier 4. Like the raid itself as well. And it just feels very ham-fisted, the whole progression system with Echidna. Because in theory, it's great. It's a slightly cheaper alternative to honing. But in practice, it becomes another sort of barrier between people who were there and able to utilize it versus the people who weren't. I don't know. A good place to start would be a massive material reduction in Tier 4, I guess, but I don't think that would fix the problem. But that would just be a band-aid. But I really don't know what you would do to the system to salvage it. I just think the design of it is... is not it, considering it was the last system before Tier 4, and Tier 4 happened, like, months after it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, if you have any great solutions to fixing advanced toning, because I'm all ears, man. I don't know. It's been nice just sitting around chit-chatting, talking about the old arkaroos. I guess tomorrow will be Arconomics too, so you're getting 2 Arc videos back to back. Would you look at that? Yippee-ki-yay. But we're about to end off with my dailies here, so thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. Let me know your thoughts, like I said, what you guys want to see and what you guys think will happen with Winter LOAON. Aside from that, as always, like the video if you like it, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you to my YouTube members. Consider becoming a member. Remix my life. I'm Nufu. It's Biscuits in your Diz. Thank you guys all so much. I love you all. Viewers included. All of you. You guys are all my bestest friends. Parasocial man out. Bye.